Hello, my dear students. Good morning to all of you. I hope you are all safe in your native places. Due to pandemic situation, you are not able to concentrate on your studies, or the studies get disturbed, and there is a lot of confusion in the academic year examination. So we are facing so many problems in the academics. Even though we have a lot of problems, we should not stop our studies. We have to continue it. So, in that regards, for BSc 6th semester students, I am going to start classes from today onwards. In our Karnataka University, Dharwad, chemistry paper 1, the third chapter is non-aqueous solvent. Today I am going to discuss a little bit about non-aqueous solvents. Before going to that, I would like to discuss the importance of solvent in a chemical reaction. The word solvent is not new to you people. You are familiar with the word solvent because in the laboratory you have done up to fifth semester, you have done plenty of experiment, plenty of reactions you have carried out in the laboratory, and you have prepared plenty of solutions by using various solvents. Usually what is the solvent usually we are going to use the laboratory? That is water. 99% of the reagents we are going to prepare by using water, and very few reagents we are going to prepare by using some other solvents like acetic acid and other substances. Before going to that, you know very well, you conducted so many reaction. In all the reaction, we observed one important thing, that we are not going to carry out the reaction in solid medium. We are always going to carry out 99% of the reaction in liquid medium. If the reactions are solid, we are going to prepare its solution, then we are going to mix those solution by using suitable solvent. Why we are using solvents? Why we are going to carry out a reaction in liquid medium? Please think over it. Start thinking. Pause my video and start thinking. And if you get any thing in your mind, just goes on, write down in a paper. Dear students, while listening my classes, you please keep one pen and paper, and it goes on writing the reaction along with me, reaction derivation along with me. Then only you can easily understand. We are carried out a reaction in a liquid medium because chemical reaction involves bond breaking and bond making. That means the various reactive components should move from one place to another place. So mobility should be exist in a reaction medium. This mobility is possible in liquid medium. This mobility is impossible or very difficult in case of a solid medium. This mobility also possible in gaseous medium, but it is very difficult. For we need the reaction is highly economy, and we cannot observe the reaction. But in a liquid medium, we can easily carry out the reaction using glass versus glassware. Okay, like a test tube, beaker, conical flask. Usually these are the vessels we are used to carry out reactions. So why you understood that to carry out any reaction, liquid medium is needed. That is, we are going to prepare a solution, then we are going to carry reaction. Why? Because in solution medium, movement is possible, collision is possible. As a result, easily it give product. But to dissolve that, solvent play a important role. Solvent is a one, it acts as a medium in the reaction, but it does not involve as a reactant. The solvent remains unaffected. Whatever the quantity of solvent you added, that the quantity remains same throughout the reaction. In some reaction, water is produced as a byproduct. At that moment, water level increases. Otherwise, so water level remains constant. That means solvent is a one. It's going to provide a medium for a reaction in which it does not involved in a reaction. Okay, and when we come to solvents, we have a various solvents, but in the laboratory we are going to use water as a solvent. But we cannot use water for all the reaction. For example, if you want to do the reactions of sodium, at that moment you cannot use water because water is going to react with sodium. It gives sodium hydroxide and it liberates hydrogen gas. So we can't use water as a solvent. And in many cases, water itself acts as a reactant. And in many cases, some of the reagents are not dissolved in water. Some of the reagents are not liberates proton. That's in water. So because of these conditions, because of these difficulties which is present in water, we are not going to prefer water as a solvent in some of the reactions. So alternatively, so we are going to use so solvents that so in which that doesn't affect anything on the anything on involved in a reaction. So these solvents other than water are called as non-aqueous solvents. So usually the well-known non-aqueous solvents are carbon tetrachloride, benzene, alcohol, liquid ammonia, liquid sulfur dioxide. So these are the common non-aqueous solvents we are going to use in the laboratory. By using these solvents, we can carry out the reaction that is not possible with the water, and it is safest. Some improvement is there in these solvents compared to water. Of course, water is a universal solvent and water is a frequently used solvent, but we cannot perform all the chemical reactions in water. That's why we have switched over to a new class of solvents. So these called as non-aqueous solvents. Dear students, in this chapter we are going to discuss only about two solvents. One is liquid ammonia and liquid sulfur dioxide. So first time Franklin and Kranz started introduce the concepts of non-aqueous solvents. First time they used liquid ammonia as a solvent in various chemical reactions, and in order to use a solvent, it possesses some properties. It should have good liquid range and it should possess very high dielectric constant. You know dielectric constant. Dielectric constant is a very important property of a liquid, and if it decides the dissolution capacity, solubility capacity of a solvent is proportional to its dielectric constant. And other properties like melting point, boiling point, viscosity, dipole moment, dielectric constant are the important properties. So they are deciding the nature of the solvent. So now I am going to discuss liquid ammonia. I think liquid ammonia, it is one of the most familiar solvent which you used in the laboratory. I think you not use liquid ammonia as a solvent. You used ammonia as a reagent by conducting various chemical reaction. Dear students, please try to remember the reaction in which you've used ammonia. I think you've used ammonia in various reactions. So first semester, second, third, fourth, fifth. So in all the 5 semester, you've used ammonia in more than 20 to 30 experiments. You try to recollect all the reactions, because if you remember, it's very easy to understand this chapter, because what are the things you have studied so far, you have done the reaction in the laboratory, some of the reactions may come in next classes. That's why you try to remember the usage of ammonia in various reaction and experiment you've done so far. I think you can see the liquid ammonia bottle in the laboratory, and so the formula of liquid NH3, and liquid ammonia is also called as azane, ammonia gas, spirit of Artshorn, and its molecular weight is 17.031. Its boiling point is minus 33.34 degrees Celsius. Dear students, as soon as you open the ammonia bottle, immediately you will get the smell of ammonia. Why? Because ammonia is unstable under normal conditions. That is, it start to boil and it is volatile under normal condition. If you keep the, okay, and so it's actually its boiling part start from minus 33.34 degrees Celsius. Its density is 0.73 kilojoule for mole, less than that of water. Its melting point is minus 77.73. That means, so below this 77 degrees Celsius, it is exists as a solid. It exhibits some characteristic properties similar to that of water. Why? Because if you take the structure of ammonia,